and welcome to the Grand Boulevard Coalition half-hour show. I'm your host this week, William Penn, Coalition past president and community engager. I just want to welcome everybody in on this semi-cold day that we are still having winter. I guess the hall was right, 6 more weeks of winter. Hopefully next week when spring gets here on Monday, usher in some warm weather. I would like to thank Cynthia Alvarez, who was in this seat last week, who did a wonderful show. And unfortunately, her guest wasn't able to be here with us live and over Zoom. So we're going to work on that and try to make sure they know how to turn on their mics so we can have them next week. And Ms. Alvarez will be back next Thursday at this time to give you more insights from a youth perspective and to promote our bi-monthly youth talking sessions that happens every other Saturday. So when you see her here on Thursday, that's Saturday at 1 o'clock. For 45 minutes to an hour, they have a wonderful Zoom where kids from all over the city and sometimes from outside, since some of our graduates are at different colleges, and sometimes they hop on and let us know how they're doing and give us some insights on the college life. So again, welcome everybody. I'm William Penn. Let's get it going. So today, I would like to talk about free clinics. Lately, due to the health disparity, a lot of clinics are popping up in our communities and different communities, and they are trying to get people to come in and get the basic tests, get seen, and then maybe hopefully get them sign up for, hopefully some of these free clinics are also offering health insurance or types of insurance that people with no income to some income to low income can afford or can get to help pay for offset some of the services that are now being ushered into a lot of these communities, especially in the Grand Boulevard corridor. We know there's 6250 South Cottage Grove. They have a free clinic there. It's run by the University of Chicago, Pritzker School of Medicine, and Project Hood, one of our good friends, one of our good organizations, Project Hood, who trying to make sure that healthcare is where people are, where people don't have to leave their community to go get their healthcare. So a good shout out to those guys. We also know that Northwestern is getting ready to break ground on a very large healthcare building off of 40, let's say about 49th and Cottage Grove, give or take a block there. And so that would be a big building that only will be bringing more resources for health to the community. It will also be bringing a permanent 50 plus jobs to the community in the healthcare area. And last night I had the pleasure to be invited out to the Cook County healthcare system, had a meeting and a presentation on how they're trying to encompass all of the Cook County area for medical health and how they're working with the different community organizations and different community hospitals and major hospitals to basically cast a net all around the country, all around the city and suburb of Cook County. So there's healthcare is be readily available for any and all. So we're very happy about all those good things are happening. And I also would hope before my session is up, the urgent care, which is Black started, Black owned off of 47th and Stony Island there, have somebody from there to come in and show what they're doing. They're also connected. They're not connected, but they're in the building that the health club is in. And we are excited about them. We went and did 2 back to school fairs there at that location, utilizing the health club in their space to be able to get kids their forms filled out, get whatever shots they need, and get the basic physicals and sports physicals so they're able to start school and not put a major burden on their parents to get that done. So healthcare is something that has been very important, and we've all have continued to hear how uh, people in the Bronzeville area and the study that came out today that African American women have the 2 times more mortality rate than their counterparts out here. And the question is why? Why are we dying not only at young ages, but dying from diseases and stuff? And what percentage of that is proper health care? But today I want to discuss what percentage is that of our own fault and what we need to do to take care of ourselves. Every day I get on here, when I'm here, I always tell it's time to drink our water. Let's get our exercise. Let's make sure we are try to be happy or be happy and talk to our neighbors as we walk to the buses and trains each morning, which is what I do. And knock on wood, it's been working. I've been pretty healthy now for 62 years. Going to have my physical on Monday. So I'll be able to get some results and hopefully keep it going, that I can live a long and healthy and productive life. And I try to instill that information, which is why the Grand Boulevard Coalition is so important. We try to instill those good traditions and good factors that help us to grow up and to be where we are in the community on our students and on our kids, so where they would have the right ingredients so they can live a long and healthy and prosperous life. So all that is very important. And now that we know that we're coming really out of the pandemic, it's going to be wild this spring and summer. We have to make sure that we are ready to roll. We have to make sure that our kids are right. We got to make sure that this mental health that's going on and is just exploding all over the place. Thank God the conversation started a long time ago, but a lot of celebrities and a lot of people are continuing that conversation. I bring up that conversation here every other week when I'm here talking about mental health and how we need to do self-care, self-help, and make sure just unplug, just unwind, close our eyes and just be quiet and meditate, and how that is so helpful. So you can stop the voices in your head talking and they can simmer down, and then your brain can kind of reset, refresh, and be ready to go. So those are some of the things that we here at Grand Boulevard Coalition are trying to get out into the community. We will be happy to talk about these things in some town halls that we'll be having. We're currently working with Insight Hospital to have a women's event, since this is Women's Month, on women's health. That actually will be the last Wednesday of this month from 12 to 2:30. And that we'll have more information on that next week with a flyer, but you can always go to the Grand Boulevard Coalition Facebook page, or if you know me, William Penn, you can go to my page. The flyer will be up and live tomorrow with more information. We're always looking for great speakers and great communicators to come out and talk. If you are a spoken word artist or a singer or some type of or artist that would like to showcase what you do, we're always looking for some good entertainment to be a part of the mix as we celebrate the month of women. Again, that will be at Insight Hospital this last Wednesday of this month, and I think that's the 29th, and that will be from 12 noon to 2:30. So we look forward to seeing people there for that. We also like to talk to our good friends over at CPS. We'll be at what's the name of the school? Perspective Charter School, Dunbar, and Diet. In the next week, setting up town halls. We really would like to hear what the youth are saying and what they think they need to make the community better. We start from the bottom and work our way up to their parents, their grandparents in the community. Then we could take those information to our alder persons and let them know this is what we need and this is what we don't need. So we will be starting out with a couple of town halls in those particular schools. We look forward to, if you're listening to this and you have anything to do with any of those schools, or you have any ideas or anything that you would like to see asked in those town halls, please email me at the Facebook page, inbox me, I guess what they call it, come into my DM me, and I will definitely ask those questions. Could bring some of that information here, and we'll let you know in the next couple of weeks when we will be at those particular 3 schools doing some town hall stuff. All righty. The next thing that we would like to discuss as we get ready to go into voting coming up in a couple of weeks, we would definitely want to say a prayer and make sure that everybody get out and vote. Vote for one of the 2 candidates for mayor. And make sure if you don't know much about them, there's a lot of information on TV. There's a lot of information in the newspaper, and they're doing town halls all around the city. Just listen out and make sure if you have a free time to go. And this might be a great time if you're a parent to take your children so they can get a chance to see what the political process is all about. And they can also begin to be a part of the part of the solution and not a part of the problem by not voting. Once we take our kids and show them different things and show them what we do and what's going on in the world, they can start having an effect as soon as possible, because as we saw this past week, 2 schools have walked out of classes because they didn't feel safe in their schools. And with that, they had emergency meetings within both of those schools to address student violence in schools. And it would be good. Unfortunately, the phones are not working. It'd be good to hear people to call in and see what they think about, have student violence risen within our schools, or has it stayed the same? Has it gotten worse? Are people just looking to have a fight or to start doing mayhem just because? You know, with these TikTok challenges that are going on, is no telling what could be on a child's mind if they want to try to start something just to see if they're doing it for a challenge. And so I think that with what the government is trying to do to ban TikTok, and then after reading about how what we see on these different platforms is curated for our minds, and I guess if that was the case, a lot of the foolishness that's on some of them compared to, as they say, they said in China, the children only get to see kids doing great and achieving high goals and achieving things. They don't get to see all the dancing and all the foolishness and the craziness that our kids get to see here. That doesn't make their kids any better than our kids, but then it's something to put a thought in our head that we could really see if what's being put in front of our kids is really affecting them. As we saw with a lot of the challenge, the cinnamon challenge, the ice bucket challenge, the swallow a battery, so on and so forth. People actually do that stuff. And it was very dangerous. People have died. People have hurt themselves very, very bad. And it's like, why do these things happen? That somebody didn't have the common sense of knowing if you're taking a tablespoon of cinnamon, it could cause a problem. So I try to teach my kids not to do none of that stuff. And if it's not a little dance video, they shouldn't be doing it. And so far, I've been successful. They all still here. They all still doing well. And I always try to go and have this conversation I'm having with you guys out there today. I go to schools every week and I talk to youth from 7th grade up through high school and college. And I try to see what's on their mind and to see what's going on so they can understand that there are a lot of good stuff going on out here, and we want them to be a part of it. We want them to lead as we continue to, our generation continue to gray and get old and retire. We still have to work on making the next leaders. The next William Penn is going to be sitting in this chair in 10 years, talking to the next set of generation of youth on what they should, not what they should be doing, but give them some good suggestions, some good ideas, get their opinions and see how they're going to push the needle forward. So as we can continue to have a safe, peaceful, drug-free community, which is a plus to anybody, we can hopefully bridge that gap in transparency where we can now start looking at great data that smoking is not, like the data we have that smoking is not good for you. We have great data that alcohol is not good for you. Obviously, if you're doing the wrong drug with the way they're lacing stuff now, if you're doing it wrong, even if you're doing it right, you could die from it. And unless you're trying to commit suicide and not really saying anything, with those data is now out there. The only data that we don't have a lot of data on, but we're getting it, is the smoking of marijuana. We find that marijuana uses is still rising. It's not rising among the youth, but it's so prevalent around everywhere and anywhere that eventually when people see stuff, they'll be like, well, I should try that because I see that. It must be okay. Just like we had to fight for cigarettes and fight for alcohol uses to down, and vaping, of course, we all know what vaping did to the world. We now have to figure out what's that line that we need to draw to make sure marijuana would be something to educate our youth not to use at a young age, and should be, if something to participate in, to participate as an adult once our brains have formed and got all the knowledge that they need from school, they mature, that they can make an adult decision. And if they decide to do those things, that they will do it respectfully, and they'll do it within and around a way that it won't affect them being a productive adult, and them who also hopefully will grow up, finish their school, get started working, go have a family, and that will not have an effect on their family. As we all know, you used to could smoke in houses, now is banned because we don't need people to have secondhand smoke. So obviously secondhand smoke from any type of cigars, cigarettes, or marijuana would be something that we would not want around kids and pets and so on and so forth. So we're having our next Grand Boulevard Coalition sector partner meeting. As they would like to say, shout out to all my sector partners in the Grand Boulevard area, our alderperson, Pat Dow, IIT, Institute of Positive Living, the Dearborn Homes, Perspective Charter School, ICESIA, and so on and so forth. We're actually looking for 3 to 4 new community partners, any new not-for-profits that are moving in the area that has some great understanding of youth and trying to work things. We would love for you to come and join the coalition so you could bring new and fresh ideas into the fold. We're looking for churches who are doing stuff, especially with the upcoming summer. If you're doing summer camp, boot camp, STEM camp, sport camps, we would like to be able to be a part of any of that, to come and bring some educational material and to take an hour out of all whatever training and getting their bodies and mind right through the summer so they don't drop nothing or lose no IQ over the summer before they hop back into their next rising school year. We would love to come out and talk to you guys, talk to the youth. We would like to join. Really, a coalition is just that. Everybody in a particular area coming together with like mind and like ideals to share and to be able to fellowship and then take that back to their prospective organizations, their prospective blocks, and just strengthen the whole community. And as Grand Boulevard beginning to get better and better and increase in its prominence within the Chicago area, we would definitely want to make sure that we're all educated in what's going on in our community, what's going on, even the whole city, and how can we make it better, and how can we fight for the stuff that we need to make that community be one of the best communities in the city of Chicago. In my world, I would think that everybody in Chicago would want to buy a home and live on the Grand Boulevard area, especially in the Brownsville area. We have everything that any other community have, so why not? The next thing that I like to, as time flies, like to talk about would be, we just had a wonderful seminar with our partners down at the Discovery Center. So it was down off of 87 in Cottage Grove. And we were talking with a lot of non-for-profits, and we wound up having a seminar on getting your GAT certification, getting everything in line and in order for us non-for-profits to be able to apply for grants on the federal, state, and local level. And you'd be surprised, and I was very surprised, how much it takes to get everything in order, to get it done. But if you bite the bullet and take that time to get it done, you just will open up a whole can of worms of potential money and potential partnerships that you never even knew about. So I just want to thank all those people and In His Hands Resources, and again, the Discovery Center for having that seminar this past week. I hope that they'll have some more as soon as I find out more seminars for non-for-profits who are just starting out. You might have your 501c3, or you might not even have your 501c3. What you need to do to get your 501c3, what you need to do to be correct with the state and the city of Chicago. What would you need to do to make sure that your SAM information is correct? So we want to make sure everybody is enriched with the most information and knowledge there is possible. We also want to make sure that we talk about all the different things that you need to do to be successful. As you guys know, when I get off the air in this half hour of my show, right after me, there's usually a wonderful politician from one of the state, city, county elected official that come on behind me, and they talk about all the great things they're doing and what they're bringing back to the community, what they're doing for their constituents. And a lot of times they'll tell you all the good stuff they're doing and that they're doing that. And a lot of times that somebody like myself who's here before them or even after that show to let you know if they got you all excited about, oh, I want to be a part of that. I need to get some of those fundings to help what I'm trying to do to get my concept, my ideal across. That's the reason why there's great shows by being a part of a coalition, the Grand Boulevard Coalition, or any coalition that might be in your community that's working with non-for-profits, or a coalition of nothing but non-for-profits that are coming together. We come together, we're 20 organizations strong, and we meet and we share information, we share ideals, we share workshops. Everyone put on a workshop in the area, from grant writing to getting all your certifications in a row. If you need a fiscal agent, we talk about the difference between having a fiscal agent and why you have to have a fiscal agent. Sometimes having a fiscal agent, because you're just getting started, might be the greatest way to go, because that'll give you the opportunity to be able to have the funding come in. The funder won't have to worry about how the money is coming in and going out. And there's a lot more checks and balances, because in this day and age, with the shortness of money, the checks and balances are very important. So I think they're giving me the wrap-up sign. So in this last 30 seconds that I have, time just goes so fast, I didn't even get through all the stuff that I have here. Just remember, Grand Boulevard Coalition is a great coalition in the community that's working towards educating and communicating positive ideals and educating our youth not to use alcohol, drugs, opioids, cigarettes, or vaping. We also work with a bunch of also other non-for-profits to try to further this information that we're doing out there. And so thank you again. I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. And until then, as I always say, drink your water, make sure you walk. And when you're out there walking to the bus or the train, say good morning to your neighbor. You might make their day. Thank you.